Hi everybody, Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF Thursday race of the day, the 8th at Aqueduct. Let's throw up the field for some salty, older $50,000 claimers traveling 7/8 of a mile at the Big A. You can download free Formulator Pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, beginning down towards the rail, Mike, and that's the number 2, the Sakari. I don't know. This horse is very consistent from a buyer standpoint. He usually runs between 70 and 78. The buyer par for this race is a 93.
Yeah, I mean, he does look like he's in a little tough. I mean, I guess the positive on him is he's actually okay. And if there is a pace in front of him in this race, he will run late. That's sort of, his thing. I don't know if he's good enough to beat. This is a pretty tough 50 claimer that he's found himself in, Dan, but maybe he'll make a late run.
Coupled entry, the 1 No Distortion, the 1A Supreme Aura, both are listed with Manny Franco aboard. We expect one will scratch out of this race. No Distortion was a stakes winner back in 2016. Won the Long Branch at Monmouth, claimed out of his most recent start by Rob Atras, who is doing very, very well. This is a hard-hitting, classy horse who needs some pace up front.
Yeah, he's another horse who will make a late run if they go in front of him. I like him off the claim for Atras because this horse actually has some back races that would make him pretty tough in here. I don't love his last 2 starts necessarily, but I don't think he ran as poorly as it looks last time.
We got old, you got sold. Earned a 96 buyer speed figure, 3 starts back at Aqueduct. That race was way back in February of 2019, over a year ago. I thought he ran well that day, pushing Bone Ray Zone through the turn and into the stretch and just couldn't get past that horse. Now he's making his second start off of a long layoff, and Jason Service showing some confidence. He claimed this horse for 20, steps him way up for the $50,000 level here, and he was in against a back classer last time. Life in Shambles returned to finish second with a $40,000 tag with an 80 buyer.
Yeah, he had plenty of things working against him last time off that long layoff. Life in Shambles isn't the horse he used to be, but he still has a decent race in him from time to time. This horse was in really good form before the layoff, Dan. If Service can get him back to where he was second in his second start off the layoff and first off the claim, he's a factor in this race.
The 4 Colton, Mississippi was a grade 2 place turf horse at 3 for Todd Pletcher, and he's bounced around from barn to barn ever since. Claimed out of his last 2 races, claimed out of 4 of his last 5 starts. Rudy Rodriguez has him now, and last time out, I thought he ran okay. California Knight, the 3rd place finisher, came back to run second to Supreme Aura. He popped an 86 buyer. Colton, Mississippi, I think is a little more versatile than he appears on paper. He can adapt to the pace scenario, but there should be some pace and he could come rolling late. He loves 7 furlongs.
Yeah, I agree with all those things. Last time I don't think you could watch the race back and say he was going to win. But he did get shut off in mid-stretch and had to alter back down to the rail. It's hard to tell on January 19th, but it did feel like he probably didn't want to be inside, and that's where he had to go after he got stopped in mid-stretch. Prior to that, I thought he ran really well. I know it was a 25 claim or 2 back. I thought he ran really well when he won that. And when you sort of pick apart his PPs recently, his dirt sprints are actually his best races. You go back to last May. No, it was last May, but at this distance, for this claiming tag, 90 buyer, he won for fun that day. He's got good dirt sprints, this horse.
It's All Relevant was a reclaim from Rudy Rodriguez 2 starts back, and then he just happened to catch a really tough spot first time back for Rudy. It was a starter allowance. Wicked Trick popped a triple-digit buyer speed figure. He was going to go run in a graded stakes race down at Laurel before he got sick. The 7th place horse out of that race bounced right back to win a $32,000 claimer with a 77 buyer. I think you have to take that last race with several grains of salt, and he has back races when he can get comfortable on or near the lead. That makes him interesting.
Yeah, that's the real key for him, I think. What kind of trip will he get here as he sprints 7 furlongs for the first time in a while? The last time they went 7, it was against, much weaker horses, and he won easily that day. But it's all about trip for him, Dan. How fast does he have to go early? And if he's up there, chasing a fast pace, it feels like that really works against him.
Piven was a stakes winner on dirt in 2018, has spent most of his career on synthetic and turf up at Woodbine. He was claimed by Mark Casse 2 starts back for $60,000, ran in an optional claimer last time out, kind of an even performance. Interesting that Lasix comes on, maybe that will spur some improvement. I liked what he did 3 back, going 5.5 furlongs at Woodbine. I thought that race was okay, but that's really the only race on his page good enough to win, I believe.
Yeah, it probably is. Like, he came right back to win again up at Woodbine in his next start when he had to come wide that day. So maybe give him a little extra credit for that win too. I like his versatility. I wanted to see him do more running last time on dirt, Dan. I mean, he just sat on the rail the entire way and never really did anything.
Supreme Aura, the number 1A, another horse claimed by Rob Atras. He's the other half of this entry. We're going to take a look at his most recent start on February the 6th, trained by Rudy Rodriguez in this race, and he's on the outside. He was prompting the pace off the rail. He was doing some work on the turn to get into contention, but once he gets past California Night, he goes on to a comfortable win with an 88 Beyer speed figure, another horse with back class, a former stakes winner.
Yeah, I thought this race was the win here that we're watching was sort of game more than anything else. I mean, he was working hard from early on, but he just never relented, ran that horse down, got a figure for it. Now he's off the claim for Atras. I don't know that cutting back to 7 has to work against this horse. I think he's interested in here.
He did look sharp in his first couple of starts in his career, sprinting, going 6 at Delaware and Fairgrounds respectively. Formulator fact for the trainer: Atras past 90 days, older horses, last out winners on dirt. He's 5 for 10, 294 ROI. This is a very high percentage trainer. One and Done has become a high percentage horse. This horse has won 4 out of his last 5 starts, 3 in a row, and off the Michael Catalano claim last time out, looked good at Parks. We'll take a look at that race right now. He was involved in a pace skirmish from the start. This horse, Red Razzo, a horse that came back to win his very next race, gave a good run at One and Done. One and Done flicks him away under merely hands and heels urging from Taylor Hole. 89 Beyer speed figure. He's run competitive Beyers in the past. Timeform US will update the pace projector after scratches. I think he's the speed of the speed. I'm a little worried about 7, but boy, is he sharp right now.
Yeah, I like all of his last 3 races, and I do think he's probably the best speed in this race too. It makes him very dangerous. Like you, a little concerned about the 7 because the 3 times they tried it in the past, he just couldn't quite see it out. But yeah, maybe he's just a better horse now, Dan. His recent form is really good.
We haven't seen the number 8 Hoffenheim in about 8 months, but it looked like he was getting good before Jeremiah Engelhardt was forced to put him on the bench. Let's watch the Polynesian Stakes at Laurel, June 16th. We see him. He is in behind horses right now in the sort of blue cap. He's trying to get through and split, and he's just stymied completely. Shuffled all the way out of there. He's now going to angle to the outside, and once he gets clear, there's no chance for him to win the race, but I do like the way he finishes up to be 4th. He ran 3 91 Beyers in a row before the layoff. The layoff is obviously a concern, but he's been in against good horses, and he should work out a good trip while in the clear of traffic after breaking from the outside post.
I mean, all those things are true. He's got plenty of races to make him really tough in here if he comes back off of this relatively long layoff and runs one of his good races. Dan, I'm going to kind of take a negative position on him, and I think that's, that has a lot to do with the layoff, and also because I'm just not a huge fan of Hoffenheim's, but this is a race he can clearly win. We'll see what we get. Jeremiah is really struggling at this meet, so maybe he'll have this horse come back running.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Thursday race of the day. I'm hoping One and Done can do it again. I'm hoping he can blast out to the front and see out this 7 furlongs. He's just very, very sharp right now. You're going with Colton, Mississippi, who I just think has to be a price in this race. And his last race looks better than it does on paper. It doesn't look as good as it really was. I like this horse. I always have. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs well.
Yeah, I sort of looked at it the same way that you just sort of laid it out. I like your horse that you had on top. I almost picked him as well, but I just wanted to take a shot with a better price. And Colton, Mississippi just feels like he's dirtied up enough that he might be a good price even off the Rudy claim.
471A and 3 for Mike, 781A and 6 for me for the Thursday, February the 27th edition of Race of the Day. It's the 8th at Aqueduct with an approximate post of 4:55. Good luck.